Hi, Meg.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Having this weird thing occur that every time I log onto Zoom, it boosts my volume to full.
Okay.
No idea why. That's the weirdest thing.
It is a little strange.
You know what? Weird. Like I'm in there now doing the settings and I'm pulling the volume slider down, output volume, and it's automatically,
Pushing back up.
yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, maybe it's just. Let's hope I'm okay.
Are you seeing the agenda okay?
I am, yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Scott.
Hey, Deb, you should be all set tomorrow whenever you need to come over.
All right. Awesome. I will give Denise a call just as a heads up that
That
we're on
sounds
our
good.
way. All right.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Anytime.
Hi all,
Hi, Ira.
Hey, Ira.
long time no speak. Hey Meg,
Oh,
hey Ellen, how you doing?
Hi, everybody. Doing well.
Hey, Ellen.
Hey Scott,
Hey, Ira, sorry. Trying to unmute over here on the commute home.
I hope you all had a good day. Got out for a few minutes. What a day.
I stepped out for a few minutes.
I don't think I stepped out at all. I'm still in my office.
Ira, I just want to sit inside and watch that video all day long.
Well, I'll give you a quiz tomorrow. It's great. I took an hour. I live right along the river in Glastonbury here. It's just a great pass here. You just leave the phone and Zooms in the car or whatever. It was just like refreshing. Hear the birds tweet.
Yeah, I think we have everyone, and Beth's not able to make it today. So I think we have,
Is Kathy Greeter coming or
I haven't heard from her.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear otherwise, but I know Cara, Sharon, and Beth couldn't make it, and Richard couldn't make it either.
So Meg, I think if you want to call it to order and get us started.
Yep, I can certainly do that. So welcome, everybody. I'm going to call to order at 5:32. First order of business, yep, because we've got Ellen and Wendy both, is to approve the attached minutes from the March 24th, 2021 meeting. If I could get a motion.
Ellen, motion.
It's Wendy, I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, unanimously approved. All right, and then we'll go right into subcommittee updates. First item up is website updates. So I don't know, Devin, if you want to start, Ira, I think maybe you might have some information around this too.
Sure. Go ahead, Devin.
Okay. I just wanted to, and can everyone see this okay?
Yes.
Okay. We did update the project status. Ira sent me some new language here, so we'll be updating this about once every week or so. And down here, we did include the side-by-side photo, so it is on the homepage now. Otherwise, we did make the side-by-side page live under this schematic design navigation bar here. So here, everyone can click into a specific area to read a little bit about the current condition and to look at a new facility example. And a lot of this is the same language from the side-by-side video. And just underneath these areas here is also the video once more. And the only other major thing that we did change, we added this community outreach page. And this just has a list of all the community outreach events that we've been doing these past couple weeks. So you can click, it's got the meeting video and the presentation deck for each of those meetings.
Devin, can you switch over? I'm going to give you a highlight of the action on the website. Devin and I were this morning going through the analytics, so I'll just give a quick overview. Actually starting from January 22nd, when the newsletter hit the homes, because we're using it as an indicator when the public. So Devin, I just want to do this quickly, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Pass it over to me.
Yep, you should be able to.
Okay. And I'll pass it back to you. All right, so here's from January 22nd until today. So it's showing peaks over here. So we had over 4,000 visits and 3,100 unique visitors. And it was around 12K in terms of page views. And what I'm going to do is show you right now, so you get the idea of the geography here. I don't have to go through, we'll go through this like here. So Farmington had the most, so we had 3,900, and we had actually a third. And you're seeing some of these other communities. My sense is you have people working in these communities who want to go to the site, or they're family sharing over here. So I just want to show you that there's people coming from all over looking at the site. Coming, some of this because we don't have actually an SEO campaign or anything, but I just want to show you how this is, how this kind of plays out a little here. And so a good portion of the state, believe it or not, is going to the site. In other words, they're doing searches and Farmington would show up, which is, if any of you have done any analytics on websites before, this is pretty typical. So we have around, little less than a third actually, who came to the site. And as you can see here, this is, when you go through it here, these are direct. And so these have been driven when people get the newsletter. And so they're actually seeing more referral, and which is what we want. And here we got social on here. So the most activity is what we want, but there's been also a big uptick. We got social and search. So direct, that means they're clicking directly from, from the newsletter or finding what it is. It's just an actual direct click from, it could be from the town side of it, whatever. We haven't done as deep a dive into this. I'm sorry, we can't go through Google here. I'm just going to show you right here. Traffic sources, keywords. I'm going to go back here. One second here. Traffic sources. I want to be able to go down here a little bit more. Keywords, traffic. Okay, so here we got my visits here, and it's coming a lot from Chrome and mobile. What's interesting here, when you see a high level here of coming through mobile devices, that's how critical is. So we're finding a big increase. People are just using their iPhones or whatever device it is to look at it, which limits a lot of the visual activity. And so this is pretty equal. And if you broke down the age and demographics, this would be the younger people, probably under 40. And this would be more the older audience here. And iOS operating, so that means it's mostly Macs coming in like this. So I just want to give you kind of a highlight here. Let's see the activity log 1 minute. Popular content. All right. So here's just one more slide here. The homepage is the first one. We're looking at the calendar, and we've been driving to schematic, which is, so this popped up because it's brand new. So we've been trying to drive people to this. That means they're going and looking at the schematic designs coming in here. FAQ, building layout, building design, site plan. So a lot of the activity is looking at what's going on in the calendar, which we've been posting so they know where to go like this. And obviously, homepage always gets the most hits, about 4K. So that's as much as I think I want to show you here. The calendar, schematic, asking questions. So these are the page views. Page views are always higher than people coming to the site. And so that's not bad. Keep in mind, this is only from January 22nd. So this is not bad for not even a couple of months of, people coming and looking at it. So right now, what we want to do is just bump up some of these other ones here. And so the schematic and the video, because the video just got posted. So we're going to see how many people are looking at that, because that's where they're going to get to see the weekly events we're doing. All right, so I'll pass it back unless you have a question or two. Other one goes, how come so many people outside of Farmington are looking at it? This is very typical. That's because of searching. But what was good to see on the chart is that direct people are finding it directly going there without, because you're not investing any ads or Facebook ads or SEO or Google search. So the organic way of searching is working fine here. Just want to give you that highlight. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing this here and kick it back to you, Devin. Thank you.
And that's all I had.
Thanks, Ira. Anybody else have any questions or thoughts? Website updates, anything they've heard, comments, feedback?
I think, Meg, one thing I know Beth mentioned to me is making a more visible link on the town website to help drive traffic there. We do have a link on a sidebar, but I think if we make something more prominent, it will help drive traffic as well. So that is in the works.
And it also should be on the school site, the Board of Ed site, making sure it's up there, because what we have up now is pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
We got around 4 weeks left until the quiet period. So the site, is action packed right now. It has video, introductions, anything you want to know about what's going on. So there's not much more going to be added to other than calendar dates updates.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Scott, you would probably know better than me, but the school website, specifically, I know the high school one has that's like the first thing you see, I think, is the new building rendering and a link out to the building website, I think, right?
Yeah, you're right, Meg. I don't
Okay.
know if that's still with us, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. I really like that page you guys added with all the meeting content. So I think that's something we can start promoting, even getting at something out maybe via social media. Here's a location for you guys to go to if you want to look at, watch another meeting or, something you might have missed. Just to have all those resources in one spot might be really beneficial for people, I think.
And I think if we keep going this way, my estimation, by the time we have to shut down or at least minimize this here, we'll have 3,500 unique views from Farmington residents, which is pretty good. When I've done these campaigns, we've been pushing it, newsletter's been helping out and so forth. And once we get more people to look at the electronic newsletter, we're going to push that out on the website more and more.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, guys. That's great work. Looks really nice. We kind of have a standing agenda item on there for you, Tall Timbers Marketing. I don't know if there's anything other than what we've got here on the agenda that you need to update us on.
No, other than we're working on the final newsletter poster, and I think I explained that last time. It's kind of like follow Yelbrick Road. It's going to be featuring what's going to be going on in the new building. The side-by-side we've covered. So this is completely about the future. Here's, what the community members, what they're going to be voting on, residents. And so that's what we're working on right now. I think, obviously the video Meg did was fine, to do it. The other thing is, again, focusing on reaching as much as possible through the PTOs, more to elementary parents. So that's what we're focusing on right now. It's a final push. Is only under 4 weeks right now in which we can reach these target audiences.
Yeah, I think we can talk about that under 5 a little bit, like, additional things we need to talk about, next steps, any kind of gaps we need to fill, or feedback as well on what the community outreach has looked like to date, and kind of feedback on that. I think is we can kind of talk about that a little bit further.
Yeah.
Side-by-side photos, I think we're good there, right? That one, I think we finally said this one can finally come off the agenda after many. It might even be years that I can say, right? I think it might even be years that we knew the importance and we knew it. So I think that's great. I think it's nice to have that accomplishment and that tool for us to use moving forward. All right, social media updates. So I don't know, Kat, if you want to just kind of give us a quick overview on plans, what's up ahead, and any thoughts around that?
I think the biggest thing that we are pushing on social media is to our meetings. As you can probably see on the Facebook page, we also are streaming them on Facebook Live. So not only if people can't access a Zoom meeting and they follow us on Facebook or want to find us on Facebook, they can follow along all of the meetings there. So that's been our focus, to try to make sure that we are directing people to when the next meetings are. There's been separate events for all of those set up. And then I think, Meg, what you just suggested, pushing content to individual pages, like, did you miss a recording? Go here. And I think we'll fill in the gaps with that. So as I mentioned at the last time, we are using Hootsuite, which in one click will post on multiple platforms, which just makes it easier and takes a little bit of the manual work away from us having to post on 3 different platforms. So that has really helped simplify and make sure that we're consistently posting.
If you have any questions, just thoughts around social media approach.
Meg, my only thing was just to make sure that in the next newsletter that our social media platforms are included somewhere.
Okay.
I don't think we had that in the last newsletter, so I was just hoping to get that included in the next one.
And Kat, I don't know if you said it, but people are attending the weekly. Right, you've got some good traffic of people attending on social media as opposed to actually logging into the meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. We are seeing some comments come in through the social media, so people are attending it that way. We need to, in terms of like Devin and I, logistically figure out how to manage that, because we want to make sure we're answering questions. And, you know, with the Q&A feature, it is difficult to make sure you're hitting all of them. So we just need to make a conscious effort to make sure we're taking a look at Facebook as well.
And I know Scott and Kat is getting out that schedule to all the other Facebook accounts and groups in town. We've talked about that. Distributing it so they have access minimally to the e-newsletter from the last one, which lists all the links for that. So I know we're working on that also. And whatever that list is, sending this electronic, send that, if not the back page, the whole document. And so we can see people there, at least getting that information again. Never hurts for them to see the newsletter in electronic version and also see the meetings they can attend.
Yep. Thank you, Ira. We talked about that today earlier,
Yeah.
that we're going to utilize our MailChimp platform a little bit more to make sure we have a large distribution list of hundreds of people. So we can push out, news links to the newsletter, links to upcoming meetings, just making sure we're driving people to access that information and back to our website.
Yeah, whatever, have on emails, tour people, give email addresses, just use that. That's all.
And I did notice, Kat, you're pushing out on the town. I can't think of the name of the tool that you send out the messages.
Oh, on Everbridge? Is that what
Everbridge, that's what it is. Yeah. So we have.
Yeah, we
that.
also have, the town has Explore Farmington, which sends out weekly emails of events going on. So they are highlighting a lot of our meetings as well, and making sure people stay informed through that avenue. Our economic development director sends a quarterly business newsletter as well. So we had an article in there, again, just driving traffic back, and it replicated the information that was in the newsletter we recently sent out. So just trying to get the same message across, as many places as possible.
Anybody else have any thoughts or anything else, or any ideas that kind of struck you for consideration? Okay. Why don't we go into community outreach updates? I just wanted to give a quick update and a thank you to everybody to date. Everything has been going really, really well. I've got some great feedback from people on the meetings that we have conducted. We've tried a couple different formats of things with the introduction of the side-by-side video and incorporating that into the presentations, really understanding what the topic meetings will look like, and really thinking about the questions that we've received during these presentations. So they've been unique, meaning per meeting, we've seen different questions based on our audience, which I think is great. And I think the most effective thing we can do is adjust as we hear repeat questions and things of concern or points that maybe that we aren't addressing appropriately in the presentation. So again, learning for us, I think, is the best way to look at that every meeting. But so far, I can't thank everybody enough for their participation, for the effort, and just being able to be there and answer questions and really, show everybody the excitement around the project that we're looking for. So, I think overall, Kat, I don't know if you wanted to give kind of an overview on attendance and just some thoughts around individual meetings.
Yeah, we've been on average, I would say 30 plus attendees, obviously some are a little bit more than others. But those, for the most part, have been kind of what we're trending towards. I think the senior meeting we have a second one coming up. We are going to be working with the senior center to really try to bulk up attendance at that. And that one is kind of a hybrid platform where we are hosting the meeting on Zoom, but we also have the ability to have a live audience, I guess, socially distanced at the senior center. So we are really making a big push to advertise that to try to increase attendance, because that was the community outreach presentation that had the least amount of attendance, but that could be, it was a Monday morning after a holiday weekend. So there's a lot of factors that could have gone into that. So we want to bolster up that attendance for the upcoming senior meeting, which is April 23rd.
Yeah, and to complement those, and Kat mentioned it before, that Facebook Live streaming that we do, on average, I would see, I was kind of looking back through, we're seeing about 100 views or so around there via Facebook Live. So we would not see those in our attendee list, but they are certainly views, and I'm always going to say, I would say most likely distinct views. I don't think too many people are going to rewatch. Maybe they are. But it's a nice it's a nice addition, I think, to an access for people, is that Facebook Live portion. So I think we'll continue with that, specifically generated from our Facebook page. So again, it's always going back to our content, to our resources for the building committee, which I think is very important. So I think overall, and I think, and Ira, you can back us up on this, that we're going to see obviously an increase in attendance as we get closer to referendum, or at least till that May timeframe when these meetings are going to drop off the calendar. But people are probably going to attend if they can. We see a lot of repeat attendees as well right now, but I think people will look for, oh my gosh, I only have one or two more options. I need to go to some. So I think we'll see an increase as well overall. But I think the best thing we can do is keep going out there and having conversations. To Ira's point about the PTO piece, we did have a PTO specific meeting, which was a joint, which is an opportunity, which was really nice that Scott was able to pull together for us, was a joint PTO meeting of all of the elementary schools in one location, so in one Zoom location. And although I don't know if we ever got the actual attendance on that meeting, do we know, Devin or Kat, like how many people we got that night?
I mean, I was kind of monitoring the attendee list, and it was over 50, possibly in the 60s at the highest point. So I mean, this is just anecdotal looking back on it, but it was definitely over 50.
Okay, and so I think we have an opportunity there, that being our primary demographic. So I think we have to think a little bit creatively too of how do we get back out to that same group, as Ira mentioned before. What's the best way for us to do that? What's going to be most effective? What's the timing around that to make sure we get those parents engaged? Because we do know that turnout is what's going to be important to the success. So I think it's something, although, adding another meeting to the calendar isn't onto the top of the list, I think that is really a priority that we need to look at. And the questions, and anybody who was there that night can jump in on this as well, were very specific, I thought, which would make perfect sense based on our audience. But I think, thinking about that information, there's a lot that we presented, even though it was an abbreviated format, there was a lot there. And maybe giving people another opportunity to come and really think about the information and ask questions and really, show some excitement around the project might be, I think, beneficial as well. So I think that would be my suggestion if we were looking at improvements on the overall schedule, is that we can kind of look at what's our another point of engagement with those PTOs.
Hey, Megan, it's Ellen. I have an idea. And I was talking to Kathy Greeter about this today because we have another superintendent's parent forum coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the questions that I thought I listened into that meeting are going to pertain to probably what we're going to be addressing tonight at the building committee meeting, sort of direction as far as elections enforcement. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of those questions are very important to them. I don't think we really got to that either, answering some of the things that they're wondering about, what they can do. So we were actually talking about that today. Maybe we could piggyback on the next parent forum, because those are all the school leaders and community leaders. It's a pretty comprehensive group with distribution. So
Yeah,
that wouldn't add another meeting.
okay, go ahead, Ira.
Yeah, I think, a week before the quiet period, we have to, between the attorneys, what can we leave up on the website? What to the outside groups if they want to use any information, how they have the access to it. Can we still use the video? Other things that come into it are, and it has to be more information based. But, it really depends on the interpretation of your town attorneys, what we can do and leave off. And so the transition to understanding, because this ties to the election laws, is saying, where'd you all go? And no matter how much, you keep in mind, we're probably going to, if anything, like maybe 200-300 people know about what's going on, but the other people don't understand election laws. They don't understand how, no one's going to read that 700, whatever, 250-page document that comes out of the Elections Commission. So I agree, focusing on that and letting people understand, but also the information that's going to be transmitted, what can be transmitted and what cannot be, has to be kind of looked at it also, just in a legal sense, versus, the advocacy could still happen with individuals, but obviously institutionally, that's the biggest way to address this. And any individual in the town can take on anything they want to do. Just the institutional spending and support has to, kind of dry up or not be used. So Ellen, this goes to, understanding what the election happens in terms of when they don't see the building committee, even though the building committee's there. So what can we leave up for them and stuff? So I think all that has to be addressed.
Yeah, and hopefully our conversation tonight is going to be, kind of the introduction to that, Ellen, is, we have some documentation, we have some FAQs, and some things that will help us address some of those questions, but let's get on the table specific examples of things that we really need to get some answers to. So hopefully that conversation, we can start that tonight and really make sure that, when we do go to the resources that are going to give us the answers, that we're asking the right questions. The other thing, I also want to bring here on something that came out of the PTO meeting. It was kind of at the very end when we were wrapping up on questions and answers, and Caitlin Eckler, who was helping us moderate, mentioned some questions, I think, that came out about voting and who can vote. And I don't know if I don't think we have anything specific to that on our website or as a resource. I just wanted to throw that out there to everybody on, is there something, what's the best way to approach that? And, what kind of questions are out there, things that people have heard around this?
Didn't we touch that in a newsletter where we said about, like, if you're not registered, you need to register, here's how to register?
We did. We had a box on there, but I don't know. And maybe that's enough. Ira, you can give us some direction on this, but I don't know I think there might be still questions out there of, can
Well, I think it should be on the 3 websites right now, the building committee, the town, and the Board of Ed. And saying, a referendum's coming up, to understand your status, see if you're registered properly, go to the website or call the register of voters. It's just basic information. That's stuff you can do. So it never hurts to repeat this.
Yeah.
Even though every household got that newsletter and it's on the website, I guarantee you many people, I believe I've heard after some of these referendums, oh, I forgot to register. We're assuming, I'm sure all of you are registered, we understand it, but you'd be amazed people who are, across the board, they forget to do it. And I don't know if it's a state controls this. I think they did the last 2020 election where they can almost register a day before. I think those were just temporary laws. So I think the register of voters, I would give them a call and see if those things have modified. Kat, have you spoken to them at all, the register of voters?
I am coordinating a meeting with the town clerk and the registrar of voters just to make sure we have everything we need to logistically for the referendum. So we can definitely discuss this.
And then put this up on the web, put it on the website right now, provide a little more, maybe information that we had added to what was on the newsletter.
Hey, Kat, I would also check in about absentee ballots.
Mhm.
Yep, and have clear information about how to obtain one. I know the governor, I believe, and I haven't read through his latest, but I think there's more information about absentee ballots and COVID and all of that. So I'll make sure we read through it and have clear direction for that.
Yeah, there's college students, military, all that stuff. You've got to look at all that. And so if we have to list a little bit more, here's what you need to do if you're not going to be in town that day.
Ira, would seniors, like folks living in senior centers, fall into that?
When seniors, excuse me?
Would folks living in the senior centers fall into that, or if there's transportation available, then they wouldn't qualify? Or
No, I mean, I mean, they can do absentee or they can show up. Usually the town would arrange, I know here in Glassboro, they just arrange, bring people to the voting
go
center.
in? Yeah.
Yeah, it depends what, you might want to look at talk to the senior center about the busing and the transportation on that day.
Okay.
And, you know, I mean, we can put a little short piece of that in the third newsletter also. We can put a little more detail in this one. If we, you know, if you're this, and this is what you do. Put a special section in there.
Okay. Any other thoughts or ideas? Anything else anybody wants to discuss? Or any feedback you've received? Ellen, I got great feedback on B from the senior meeting. So that was
We'll
great.
be back for the other one.
Yeah, exactly, which is perfect. I think that's awesome. So having kind of special guests, I think is important. Anytime we can do that and pull people in, just so people are hearing voices and representation across the town, I think is very beneficial. I also have actually gotten quite a few comments on the fact that we have multiple representatives at the meetings voicing their support. So you know, I think that's really critical to the message, and I think people really appreciate that aspect of being able to hear from, you know, all the different kind of stakeholders in the project, and making sure that they hear, you know, the support for the project overall. So
There's one tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
yes. There's a topic
Thursday.
meeting.
The topic meeting.
Topic meeting.
Topic meeting, yeah. Meg, Kathy, have you ever done voter registration in the high school at all for 18-year-olds?
Yeah,
yeah,
we
Now
do
that you have to, could
we
you
do it every year.
based upon what the town does, can that be arranged for who is ever 18 years old, seniors?
It's in process right now. We do it every year in the spring. So
Oh, okay.
Our political, we have 3 different political clubs. They help organize it through our civics program.
Scott, when's the last one? When's the last one you're going to be doing to high school?
I'll have to check. It is before before early May. So working with our director of student activities and Lance Goldberg, who is one of our civics teachers, helping organize that for late April.
Yeah, see, you know, depending how many, I mean, it's always good to get as close to the referendum. See if about May, I don't know how many students you got turning 18 in May, but you know, that's their first civic responsibility. See if you can get them in there.
The other thing, Ira, is that when, and Scott, I'm sure that your students already know this, is that when we're registering, we register 17-year-olds automatic. If you're 17 and going to be turning 18 by the referendum date, so we might be able, if it happens and can't happen again.
Good idea.
Mine could read, if you're going to be 18 before June 3rd register, they'll roll you right in.
No. Yeah, that's good to know. Thanks, Ellen.
Thank you.
Okay, any other thoughts, questions, feedback? Anybody heard about meetings?
I just think it's great that we've had, you know, almost every session's come up with different questions. So we've gotten very different perspectives, which I think has been helpful for us as we've been moving forward. So yeah, it's been good.
Meg, I just went and tallied up. There's close between 400 and 500 people since the end of March, beginning of April, have gone specifically to get information or tag these meetings we've been running. So that's pretty good. In other words, those views I've seen, so I was looking at the area because I can see what pages they went to.
Mhm.
And it's a minimum of between 50 and 60 just looks on the website, participating or not, but at least they went there to get, or they're looking for the information. Devin, are these all posted, the recordings for each of these?
They are, yep, on that.
We should reiterate that too, that if you missed
Yep.
one, you want to listen to one, it wouldn't be bad to plug that on the website too.
Yep, and I think we can advertise it through some social media posts as well.
Yeah, yes, good idea.
So the videos are all listed here.
Yeah, I see. Just sometimes the simple links, maybe that's a good place for social media for posting, absolutely right. And just a quick link right on the homepage wouldn't hurt.
All right. Any other thoughts, questions? Anything else? A lot going on, but I think we just keep going. We keep, we've got a lot, what I've seen, which is really great, just as a side note is, the content is there. It's a matter of choosing what to use when based on the audience, which is a great place for us to be, meaning, we have options, we have choices. Kat's doing a fantastic job giving us scripting so that people feel comfortable. So I think overall, this is really, it's coming together very, very nicely. And by the time, as I think we're really right now to the point where we have a good idea of what formats work for different audiences. And then, we have remember that final community meeting, which I'm hoping really is a great opportunity for us to highlight everything. We still haven't talked about that content yet, but, we'll know a lot by then, and questions. And I think the good thing is that, a lot of the questions, they're things that we've discussed, things that we're have answers for. Some we needed to do a little research on, and that's always good to know as well. But overall, I think it's just really nice to be in the place we're in. I think we're exactly where we should be. So. Any other thoughts? Or are we able to give people a little time back, which is nice, before the next meeting? Awesome. All right. If nobody has any other updates, then I will ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
Ellen, motion to adjourn.
Ms. Wendy, second.
Great. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. We will adjourn at 6:10, and we will see everybody in a few minutes.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Marianne.